Hey everyone, this is my Patreon proud reaction to the 14th episode of Steins. And last episode, we got to follow Kyoma as he's desperately trying to stop Mayuri from dying a horrible death, which is a lot harder than you might think. Now, I actually figured out kind of what we were going to be doing with this whole Mayuri saving plotline quicker than I probably should have, just because I recently started watching a show called Supernatural that had a fairly similar thing. It didn't have like time travel exactly, it was more of a Groundhog Day thing, but you know, waking up trying to stop somebody from dying, and every time you relive the day, they die a different way, like it had that kind of thing. So that was in my mind as watching this, and yeah, there's a lot of parallels there for sure. So I mean, eventually that show, everything got worked out, but I don't know if it'll get worked out here, really, because in that show it was just somebody messing with them. This is more of a cosmic force kind of thing. But anyway, this episode, I'm not quite sure what we're gonna do. I imagine we'll have to watch Mayuri die at least a couple more times, but I'm not sure where we're gonna go from there. I'm hoping he finds like the magical key combination to keep her alive, but I don't know what that would be. Like, I offered suggestions, but one of them wasn't valid because she didn't even die by Moika's hands that last time. So I don't even know anymore. But yeah, let's just get into it and continue the suffering, shall we? So 3, 2, 1, play. I almost didn't hit that button hard enough. At least we're going through it quickly. I should also mention in Supernatural is more comedy than a lot more comedy than this is. This is not comedic at all. That's what it comes down to. Proof that there is no God in this world. Oh no, don't say that, Mayuri! Just get a better watch. What, somebody's gonna shoot her? Was... Why? Why would some random person... Or I guess it could have just been Moika. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we could have a talk with Fate about this. Just maybe work something out. Trade, perhaps. And opening. So yeah, it's just as cheery as I expected it to be. And so far he has made no progress to saving Mayuri. What good is there being a mad scientist if you can't change fate? You'd think if anyone could do that, it would be the mad scientist, though. So they do kind of imply that he's tried this a few times off screen, that we kind of zoom through. Did he try telling the truth in any of those? I wonder. You know, properly explaining the situation, I mean. I guess I finally makes sense why Suzuha's so close to him in the opening. Because she is not a horrible enemy like I thought. So, please. Was that much of an explanation, man? But I can definitely see this is starting to get to him. Understandably. Just lock him out. Better not be Mocha. He's a dirty traitor. Okay. Bold plan. I don't like hearing the sound of a train on this show anymore. Is that one of the gadgets? One of the time lab gadgets? That's a real gun. Well, Mocha, your move. And kill Mayuri, more importantly. I mean, how do you think? Have you watched this show? Supposedly. Good point. Okay, what's your third? That one I can understand a bit more as being a problem. Like something that needs to be have a stop put to it from Stern's perspective. I don't know who that is. You have explained nothing about FB. Oh. Well, I guess one of her partners helped her. Yeah, maybe to you it means nothing to me. I just think Facebook every time. I mean, he spoke to John Titor, so probably not. Yeah, we've heard about that before. Several times. Don't say that. Maybe we should spend our time convincing her that Mayuri has value. And in this situation, he may not even be able to do another jump easily. Oh wow, kill him. Just gonna get there in time to see. Yeah, I knew we wouldn't get there in time. Because of course we don't. At least he made it to that thing. A lot of good it'll do. Hello again. A lot's wrong, okay? Christina. I mean, if you break that thing, there's no more leaps. I want to reconsider that. I don't think he's in the party mood anymore. Just shut up, kid. I'll push you in front of the Shinkansen. Yeah. It really hurts to see Kyoma like this. He was such a cheery fellow back in episode 1. I'm sad, okay? Probably not in the mood to mess around. Well, that's definitely true. That'd be quite something. That's the biggest question. So can I. I know how close you are to her. We've seen examples of that. I do feel a little bit better now that we have her helping. Oh my god. Kurisu, thank you for that. I needed that. I love you. I want to play that again. Already. Wow, look at that blush. Oh, that was great. That was so good. Feel so much better now. Feel even better if I had pizza. She would know. Exactly. Does it? I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. Like a safe word. Why do you want a fork? I assume... What? I think that might have went over my head. I mean, a fork could be like a fork in the timeline. Spoon could be... There is no spoon reference, but I don't know. Oh. Okay. I feel good about this try. Now that we have Kurisu helping, I really do feel much better about this. Phrasing. So glad I don't see a crack there. Just in front of me. Yeah. It was a little bit. Definitely was a bit. Not as tired as you. Suspicious looks from Kurisu. Love when she does that voice. You know, when she gets flushed and rejects something. Tell her about the fork. Bring up the fork. Maybe she doesn't know what's up as well as she thought she did. Don't talk with a mouthful. It wouldn't help anything. Just bring up the fork. You have a keyword for a reason. Seriously, dude, what's the point of a keyword if it takes you that long to remember it? Yes. I still don't quite get it. It's great just being mad at your future self. People usually mad at their past selves. Yeah, if we could just kill Moeka, that would probably help. But, you know, it's no guarantee, yeah. Yeah, cause and effect. I'm aware of that concept, at least. Yeah, death doesn't just pop out of nowhere. Fate. Jeez. I hope not. Kyoma being with her? Oh. Suzuha! It's nice to see you. beta world line. Okay. we just have that, okay. Oh. Really? Okay. So is she familiar with like another Kyoma? It's quite the metaphor. Yeah, we need to get a better line. So you have to do a stronger change, kind of. Yeah, we're not as fit as you, Sousa, huh? Yeah, some kind of. Still don't know what FB is, though. We better find a way. Then what? Guess it'll be a pretty big deal. As far as timeline's concerned. Yeah, give us specifics. And why do you hate Kurisu? I guess just because the future Kurisu becomes... gets together with CERN, I guess, but... Well, her being for the future is not exactly a surprise. That was one thing I was positive on. Okay, that. The John China thing, that was a bit more of a surprise. Okay then. That's good to know. Yeah, she definitely said enough weird things throughout the show that her being for the future was a given. Like, there was no doubt in my mind on that one. I may have been wrong about her being an enemy. I know I was not wrong about that. Well, the episode ended much more positively than the last one did. That's a good sign. Like, we actually have an idea, like a plan, like a way. So that's more positive than I expected. I almost kind of thought the episode would end with Kyoma still being really depressed. But no, we actually have some hope. We just have to make really big changes in the world line going between Alpha and Beta. It should be doable, right? And okay, that was the 14th episode of Steins Gate. It was a pretty good episode, for sure. Kyoma definitely hit probably his lowest point in this episode, just absolutely regretting everything because all of his decisions, you know, the time travel, bringing certain untrustworthy people into the lab, being also, you know, carefree, like, you know, he made a lot of mistakes that he's starting to really regret now. And since he's tried over and over again to save Mayuri and has had no success, he's got plenty of reason to be down on himself. That's for sure. But there finally became a ray of hope in the episode because we actually talked to Kurisu about what's happening, you know, actually explaining the situation to the smartest person in the show. Yeah, that might be of some benefit, you know, just mind blown right there. But because I'm pretty sure I suggested as much before, and he finally did it. That's good. I mean, Kurisu kind of made the first move, you know, walking up to him, trying to ask him, you know, what's going on, what's the deal? He kind of gonna help, you know, all that stuff. And we had some great just Kurisu being amazing in that scene, you know, like, I don't know how to describe it, you know, a little bit of silliness, you know, kind of emulating Kyoma. I don't know how to describe it. You know what I'm referring to. It was quite funny and cute, though. And that's when it really began, you know, us working together. And one of the funnest things about time travel is always, time travel shows, rather, is when you, like, when the main character talks to somebody in the future and they, like, figure out some things about them that they wouldn't normally know. So when they go back in the past, they talk to that person about that. And the person's like, oh my god, how do you know these things, you know? Like, and we kind of did that with the episode a little bit. You know, the talk of the keyword, which I still don't quite get that. Eating a fork, already having a spoon, that just must have flew over my head because I don't quite get that. But she seemed a little bit embarrassed to have that revealed by her future self. You know, since we were at a restaurant, I thought maybe, like, we were taking that pretty literally, like she needed the fork to eat her food, but it didn't seem really like that. So I don't know. If it's not a spoiler for future, feel free to let me know if that's something that I should have got, because I definitely did not. But yeah, for sure, I definitely felt a lot better about our success once we got Kurisu on board, because she is the most qualified person to help, like really. So that's good. But we also have Suzuha helping out, which, you know, back in the day, I'd be like, no, we can't trust her, get her away from our important stuff. But now, since we've had a bit of a paradigm shift since then, I'm like, yay, we got Suzuha, that's great. And she, yeah, definitely is going to help a lot, because she's the one that really told us about all this alpha, beta stuff in the timelines, how a lot of them there might be different timelines, but they're all very parallel, very similar, kind of going to the same result. So we just have to do like a big shift, you know, not just these little bouncing from one to the other, you know, rather than going from one lane to another lane in a road, we like go off the grass and onto a completely different road, kind of like that, I guess. It would be probably another good metaphor to use. But yeah, Suzuha, she could help because she's like a real time traveler, you know, from 2036, I think she said. And yeah, so she would definitely know a lot more. And yeah, you know, like I said, I was pretty sure she was a time traveler just because of all the silly things she said and the way she acted, like expecting bomb raids from the sky or just like little things like that. Like, she was a very weird character, you know? I mean, that's... Is there anyone that watched this show that found out she was a time traveler in this episode? Like, and that was a surprise. Like, I had trouble believing that. But they did have a real surprise right on top of that, like right afterwards, and that was saying that she is John Titor. Now that's a real unironic, mind-blown moment there, because I think we had Moeka ask if Kyoma was John Titor, right? And I know I said something there, kind of not believing that, but you know, I kind of did think maybe there could be something there. You know, maybe a future Kyoma doing time travel shenanigans, like maybe there's a way to make that work. Like, I was at least entertaining the idea in my head, but no need for that anymore, because unless she's lying, Suzuha's John Titor, which is pretty funny because, you know, my initial assumption was Suzuha being like on the side of CERN and Moeka being like working with John Titor. Maybe FP was some secret name for John Titor. That's what I was thinking initially. I was quite wrong on a lot of that, quite clearly. And we still don't know who FB is. I still have no idea what that's referring to. I mean, she makes it sound like it's a person, but I guess it could be an organization. I'm still gonna run with it being a person, though. I just don't know who that could be, like, at all. Like, I have a list of characters here, and no one has those initials, right? So, I mean, F could stand for, wait, maybe B for Braun, Mr. Braun, maybe. That's not just popped in my head. It's probably too crazy, though. Anyway, I'm sure to reveal it eventually, so I'm not going to be too impatient on that, although I am kind of a little bit impatient on that. Because I'm expecting that to be a pretty big deal if they're holding off revealing it for as long as they are. And I think that's everything to really say about the episode, you know? Just... But, yeah, I'm starting to think. Yeah, episode 1, because we saw somebody come out of the time machine, and my initial assumption of that was that it was Suzuha, and I thought maybe I was wrong because it turned out that Moeka was, you know, the traitor, but I guess that still very much could have been Suzuha, because, I mean, she still came from the future. That's not necessarily contingent on being with CERN, you know? She could just be from the future, you know? Especially if she's John Titor, that makes plenty of sense. So the person episode 1 that we saw come out of the machine probably still is Suzuha, but, you know, now I'm wondering about Moeka. Is she from the future as well? Because I assume she is. I assume she is. But if we have no proof of that at this point, though, if that was Suzuha in the initial machine, which I'm going to run with the theory that it is for now. So yeah, still a lot we don't know about Moeka. There's a lot of allegiance to something called FB. It's pretty much about all we know. She was nice enough to explain to us the 3 reasons why Mayuri has to die. You know, the fact that they know too much, the fact that they have a time machine, the fact that they were going to reveal things to the public. So, you know, I guess she's honest in a way. Doesn't really make up for anything, though. Just that scene with Kurisu is just the best. I'm definitely going to rewatch that a couple times after I finish this recording, so you can be sure on that one. Because that just gave me life, and an episode was just very depressing. I needed it. I'm glad we got that. She's a great presence in this show. Anyway, that's all I got to say, really. I'm glad that seem like we have a chance to make things right, to make Mayuri exist. Hopefully that goes positively. I'm like 50-50 hopeful on that, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Just hope for the best. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki and Ryan for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.